Hey drummers, hope you're well. Right, shout out to channel member Timothy who commented on the last video to ask about this. This is a little bit of playing I did in broadly in the style of John Bonham. I was in fact pretty much ripping off When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin, of course. And yeah, Timothy commented, can you transcribe and put onto GrooveScribe? Shout out to Mike Johnston, of course, that amazing bit of software. Can you put onto GrooveScribe and notate that groove and the melodic fill, he said, that you played in the second bar? So I'm going to go through that now. And yeah, as usual, on the channel members page you'll find the notation and the practice along like GrooveScribe version for that. It was basically this. Or at least the groove was, and the drum fill went. That kind of thing. Let's go for the groove first. Now, what I was really doing was basically just playing the groove from When the Levee Breaks. As I say, I was kind of adding in a few extra notes, really just to recreate the echo delay effect, which is on the drums, right, on that track. So the core basic version. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. So you're playing a basic straight eighths rock beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the kick is on the 1 and 2 and on the so-called of beat 2, and that goes in between the hi-hats. That's the tricky bit, I would say. It all depends where you're at with your drumming, but that's the bit that sort of elevates it to like perhaps grade 3 type of level as opposed to grade 1 or 2. So you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so there's 3 bass drums on the 1, on the of beat 2, as I say, and then on the and of beat 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'll build up some of the other stuff that's in it. I played like a double kick, 2 16th notes basically, on the one that's on beat 1 and on the one that's at the end on the and of beat 3. So you're always going to get a bass drum that goes with the hi-hat and then one that goes in between. So next level up. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. Again, just recreating that kind of echo sound. In fact, on the original, he might be playing something like, at least some of the time. So I think you might be playing a double in there. But anyway, I played the double, like I say, on the 1 and on the and of beat 3. Boom, boom, ga, boom, 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 bat. So again, that's the bit that sort of probably elevates the difficulty a bit, I would say, in my opinion. So when you get to, perhaps that's more of a grade 4 into grade 5. Assuming that you're playing it well and cleanly and it's sounding good and flowing and it's sounding good for a prolonged period of time. That's like at a grade 4 or 5 level. Cool. And then I played some ghosted notes as well. What I did was, again, to recreate the delay echo effect, what I did was after every loud snare, which is on the 2 and the 4, of course, a backbeat, I played straight after that a ghosted snare drum, ba-ba, like a little bounce of the stick, ba-ba, ba-ba, like a little controlled bounce straight after the backbeat hit, which is on the E of beat 2 and the E of beat 4. So 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and. So everything we've done so far. A bit slower. 1 E and 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and. I also, if you want to throw it in, added in a ghosted snare, just because I could have sort of liked the feel of it really. That was on the E of beat 3. 1 and 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and. That one. 1 E and 2 E and a 3 E And I also kind of added in a little either buzz, or you could play it as a bounce double stroke, which is ghosted right at the end of the bar, like as it turns around to repeat, right at the end on the of beat 4, if you like. So that kind of sound. So let's go through those levels again. Classic core basic version. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and adding a double kick or 2 quick 16ths on the 1 and on the and of beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 I then added a delay echo effect recreation extra hit after the backbeat. So I played the loud backbeat snare on 2 and 4, but then played just a little controlled bounce afterwards as quiet as I could. 1 E and 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and. Really slow. And then just for fun, I put a little buzz or double stroke right at the end on the of beat 4 to complete my recreation of the when the levee breaks groove. Oh, hang on, I missed one out. There's also that little snare, if you want, totally up to you, on the E of beat 3, ghosted as well. I'll go slower. The count 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a last time 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. All right, that's that. And then there was that fill, which went, so that it launched into as if it was going to be another bar of groove. 1 and 2 and then played a little bounce double. It's like setting up a drag here. A drag starts on beat 3 and a 4 E. Just playing 16ths around the kit there. And a 4 E. You can play that on whatever toms you like. Sometimes I use this tom, right? And people write to me and they say, I haven't got a mid tom. Well, it doesn't matter, just use these two, man. I often, to be honest, when I do gigs, quite often I'll just take 2 tom-toms. So. So single strokes, once you've played your drag at the start, assuming you're right-handed, right, left, right. Hold on. Right, left, right. I did actually play 2 rights in a row there. Right, left, right. Flam on the snare, kick. I'll run that a couple of times. Comes now and slower still as I say, full notation and groove scribe practice along for both the groove and the fill there on the channel members page as usual. Shout out to Timothy and all the other people who messaged to ask about that. One thing I've learned in this job, which I really do value greatly, is the appreciation that sometimes when you're doing this job, being a drum teacher, you say something and it could well be, in fact, it very often is the throwaway comment or the throwaway thing. I said, oh, by the way, to my ears, John Bonham often plays those cymbals quite quietly. The video on Friday was about one of my best bits of advice, just again from my perspective of doing gigs, is keep the level of your cymbals down so that your drums can sound brilliant, and so you don't annoy the rest of your band. Basically, one great way to get gigs is sort of be known as the guy who had a nice, reasonable, responsible cymbal volume. And then I just said, oh, to my ears, John Bonham's doing that a lot. That's why, in my opinion, again, his drums sound so big because he's playing lightly on the cymbals. And I just played this groove, right? And one thing I've really come to appreciate is that sometimes you do something like that, quite throwaway, and people actually sometimes take more interest in that than the actual thing you were waffling on about in the first place. And I never expected that when I first started doing these lessons, and also I'm always excited by that because I realise I can relate to that. Sometimes it's the little moments, isn't it? Little throwaway things. That's where the nugget of gold is for some people. So I dig that, and thanks for asking about that, Timothy. There you go. And like I say, head over to the channel members page for your notation and your practice along. Thanks a million for watching as always. Any questions, give us a shout. See you soon.